All right, I want to talk about two things. First of all, I want to talk about the media coverage, which is the thesis of the monologue. I want to talk about why the mainstream media is ignoring when the Iranian people are trying to stand up for their freedom. And then I want to talk about the fragility of the Iranian regime. Is this the weakest that they have ever been?
Definitely. First of all, in terms of why the mainstream media is not covering that, I think, honestly speaking, I don't think they have really caught up with the developments that are so rapidly shaping up in the country. This is totally a different world. I assume that they have no agenda. Even if they had the right agenda, they need to understand what's happening inside the country. This is not the situation a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, or definitely not 40 years ago. What we witness in Iran is a nationwide uprising by the people of Iran, all strata of the Iranian society, especially the younger generation. They're taking to the streets. They're rejecting the entirety of this regime. It's not about one faction over the other. It's about the whole thing. People of Iran have made up their mind. They want the entirety of this regime out. What we witnessed just in November, we saw the weakness and the vulnerability of this regime that you had never seen before. They were well prepared because the regime itself was planning to increase the price of gasoline, which actually triggered the protests. And with lining up all of the Revolutionary Guards, all of the Basij, all of the state security forces, they failed to prevent the uprising that took over basically all 31 provinces of Iran for 3 days. The regime had to kill 1,500 people, almost all of them as a result of direct shooting at the protesters in the street, something they hadn't done for many years. And they arrested 12,000 people. And then they came up with this circus of a state-controlled ceremony for Qasem Soleimani. They brought all their plainclothes Revolutionary Guards. They closed down all of their offices, the whole operation of the government, bringing all of their employees. These were the regime's own people that they brought to street to portray Qasem Soleimani as something he wasn't, as a hero. In fact, he's the second most hated person in Iran, only next to Supreme Leader Khamenei. And guess what? It didn't take more than 3 days before the people were back in the street, this time as a result of downing the Ukrainian airplane. And then, the issue is not, one day is the gasoline price, the other day is the downing of the Ukrainian plane. But the issue is that the people are chanting death to Khamenei, death to Velayat Faqih system, death to the oppressor, whether it's the Shah or the Supreme Leader. And they want freedom. They want democracy. And there is nothing that can stop this generation of the Iranians because they have already made up their mind. This issue is over. You mentioned the case of some of these athletes who are defecting. It's not just limited to that woman, Taekwondo champion. There's a whole host of others who are defecting. A lot of the celebrities, a lot of the people, who were movie actors and actresses and others, they're leaving the scene because they feel the momentum has changed. This regime is on a slippery slope down, and their days are basically numbered. No matter how hard the regime tries, it just makes things worse for the regime.